Good morning, folks. Hopefully today will be the last day of these and get this thing bolted up underneath. I need to go get some oil for the rear end here, and looking into it, it looks like it takes 80-90 or 75-90 or whatever, just regular standard gear oil. So the limited slip stuff, a couple of folks told me that it's because it's got some clutches inside. I don't know, I've never seen it, but I guess it's more like a transmission fluid oil. But anyway, first thing I'm going to do, since I got to run into town anyway, is I'm going to give it a coat of paint. It always makes it look a little bit better and protects it a little bit from this road salt we got here. And the salt isn't as bad as it is in some places. The other parts of the country use it a lot heavier than we do here, but it's bad enough. It sure makes your I forgot to grab my grinder. I need to cut them bolts out. Sure makes your truck end up with holes in it, like here. That ain't bad yet, but it's starting. One of the things I had hoped to get to this summer was to kind of patch that, but didn't get that far. Yeah, like I say, this is definitely unneeded. But, you know, if you're gonna go through the trouble and it's out and easy to get to anyway, why not? It'll make leaks easier to spot also. And I didn't. I mean, I got most of the dirt and grit and grime off. If there's a little left on there, the paint won't stick, but it really don't make much difference. And it was paint I already had. I didn't go out and buy it. At least not for this job. Anyway, turn this off and run to town after that, and while this is drying, by the time I get back, it should be dry enough to mess with it again. This spray paint doesn't take very long usually anyhow. Okay. Looks better already, don't it? Yeah. It's kind of a I mean, I imagine I'll get in trouble for saying this, but it's kind of a ethnic racist type joke, but a friend of mine used to call a new paint job a Jewish overhaul. Anyway, see you in a bit. Amazing what a little coat of paint will do. That's still a little wet, but that looks almost brand new again. Well, by golly, nothing else that looks pretty. Oh, shoot, I gotta go get my grinder. I still gotta get these bolts here out. But I think I'm ready to put it back in. About time, huh? Be nice to see this thing with four wheels again. All right. Got the shock bolts out, finally. One thing, I didn't know this before. I was talking to Hillbilly about the bearings inside here and greasing those. And it says that what happens is that the oil from in here will walk up the axle and get those bearings. But you want to grease them when they're new and put them in there before they, so that before the oil can get there, they have a little bit of lubrication. And anyway, I got to looking at that. These holes right here, I don't know if you can see down in there. I should have a flashlight here someplace. Anyway, these holes right here, let's see, this one and this one, those go straight on through, and they go into your axle. So you would get, my gears fell off on the inside, but you would get a little bit of oil coming around these bearings, but not very much. Most of the oil to get to the axle and get to those end bearings has to come in through these holes here. And if you look on this other cover, these little knobs are from somebody putting too much of this stuff, the forma gasket or whatever you call it on there. That just about plugged up those holes. So you kind of want to make sure that those are open when you put these together. The actual gasket that they would have on this would not cover that hole. It would come across here. And anyway, that's pretty important, because otherwise you really don't get enough oil to those bearings. I also just noticed this too. Look at here. I got scrapes, teeth marks, bad ones. So yeah, those gears on the inside, that pinion bearing definitely hit this. That's part of the problem why it locked up so bad. So, like I say, if I had pricing the pinion bearing replacement kit, I don't think it came with the gear, but it came with the seal and it came with the bearings. There's 2 bearings and a crush washer and a seal. That was $260 some bucks, $262 or something. I don't remember now. Like I say, this whole axle here cost me $300, and then I added other stuff to, I replaced the seals, replaced the brakes, all that stuff. So I'm into this probably not quite $500, counting the shocks, probably $500. But Morelli and some other people told me that to have theirs done, it was over $2,000. So taken me a while, a lot longer than I'd hoped, but I'm saving a lot of money. I mean, it was going to break regardless whether I drove it or somebody else, and it's just one of them things you don't really count on spending, but it happens. Anyway, what I got left now, put my tires back on and get this one out of the way with the tractor, put it underneath the truck, and bolt it all back together. With a little bit of luck, I should have it in place by the end of the day. I never did go into town and get that gear oil. So I'll have to still do that. And then my shock absorbers, they're not coming until Monday. So I could probably drive it just fine without them. Those ones I had weren't doing anything anyway. I don't think I'd go up the mountain roads though until I have them. Anyway, here we go. Ready to put this thing under here, I think. Starting to look like a truck part again, doesn't it? Instead of instead of, I don't know what. Actually, you know what it looks like? It's one of them fighter planes on Star Wars. Battery in the camera quit. But anyway, I got this sitting on here. I've still got the chain. And I took my blocks out. So, I mean, if it were to fall, which it really can't because it's hanging on that chain now. But if it were to fall, it wouldn't go very far, hopefully, because I got them tires and axle for it to land on. But anyway, I got these lined up. On your axles here, you got on this piece, you have a round hole in the middle. This has a little peg on it. You got to get that peg into the hole on both sides, and that keeps it lined up and keeps it from shifting. So now I just got to bolt it all together and hook everything back up. The brake lines and the drive line, and by golly, we'll be back in business. Got the axles bolted on, and I went to put this breather back in, and doggone mud wasps have packed it full of mud. So that wouldn't have been doing anything either. Brakes are all hooked up. Need to put oil in the pumpkin there. Need to bleed the brakes tomorrow. And I gotta remember how that emergency brake cable hooked up. It's got a little kind of a splitter there for the two sides, and I don't remember how it went. I'll have to figure that out. I'm running out of daylight. Actually, I'm out of daylight, and it's hard to see with just this drop light. So I was hoping to be 100% done, but I'm real close. I got everything buttoned back up and back in place. Like I say, I got, well, except for the drive line. I got to put the drive line in, and I got to do those brake cables. And just saw a dog or something run by over there. I don't know who that belongs to. Anyhow, gonna take me probably another day, dang it. I thought I'd be done. Oh, guess that's it for today, and I don't know whose dog this is. We don't have very many strays running around here. The neighbor has a couple that come over quite a bit. It might be one of them. Yeah, I think it is. I think that's his Gus dog. And we got this little fella. Getting to be quite a few rabbits really around. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and see you tomorrow. Unfortunately, probably be one more day of this before we can go do something fun. That fella that never paid me for the beaver trapping, he sent me, or called me today, said that them beaver are really eating his trees. I thought, yeah, I bet they are. Well, maybe if he'll pay up, I'll get over there and trap a few of those too. I don't know. Anyway, running out of daylight. Here a few minutes ago, I was hoping to catch it, but the sunset was kind of pretty. It wasn't real red, but it had a little bit. This morning's sunset, at the start of this video, it had more red in it than I thought it did. It's amazing how fast that turns red and then it's gone again. Kind of like this video. Gone. See ya, folks.